After the wise men had visited Jesus, they didn't go back and tell King Herod where to find him. Instead, they went home by a different route. Herod then sent his soldiers to kill all the boys in Bethlehem less than 2 years old.
Matthew says that this fulfilled a prophecy from the Old Testament book of Jeremiah.
A cry of anguish is heard in Ramah, weeping and mourning unrestrained. Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted, because they're dead.
At first it looks as if Matthew is misusing a prophecy from the Old Testament that wasn't about the birth of Jesus at all.
In the context in the Old Testament, the prophet Jeremiah was foretelling the defeat of the Jewish nation by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar. This happened in 586 BC. Judah was conquered, and many of the people were taken away as captives to Babylon.
Nebuchadnezzar's army gathered the captives at a place called Ramah, which Jeremiah mentions in his prophecy, before herding them off to Babylon. This is why Rachel is weeping for her children, because they're going into captivity.
So how are we supposed to make sense of Matthew's claim that this prophecy about the Jews going into captivity 600 years earlier was fulfilled by King Herod murdering the boys in Bethlehem in the time of Jesus?
In the Jewish world of that time, a teacher could quote one phrase or sentence from the Old Testament as a way of alluding to the whole passage where it was found. That's what Matthew is doing here.
The context of Jeremiah's prophecy was God's judgment in the 6th century before Christ, and the destruction of the Jewish nation by the Babylonians.
But it also includes a remarkable prophecy of hope beyond the coming judgments. One day, the people who've been taken into captivity will return home.
And beyond this return, God promises through Jeremiah that in future there will be a new covenant, a new agreement between himself and his people.
The Gospels record that Jesus took up this promise of a new agreement and applied it to himself, a new agreement that was sealed by his death.
The writers of the rest of the New Testament also understood Jesus as fulfilling Jeremiah's prophecy of this new agreement.
So putting all this together, Matthew is pointing towards Jesus as the one who brought in a new agreement. He's saying that beyond the present grief, whether it's the captivity in Jeremiah's day or the slaughter of the boys in Jesus' own time, there's hope for restoration and renewal through Jesus.
Would you like to find out whether God is real and to connect with him? Why not try praying? There's an app, a website, and a booklet to help you. And there are links in the text with this video.